Thanks very much for giving us this information on the ICJ. I would like to, first of all, I see that basically most of the information, even though you say no, tends to be a yes, no. And I'm not saying that, right now, to be honest, I am not saying yes, and I'm not saying no, because I believe that as a person, as a Belizean, I need to inform myself some more, no? And basically, I also believe that the worst thing we can do to this nation is to politicize this subject. This has to be away from politics, and we have to take an informed decision as Belizeans. And we cannot guide ourselves by our emotion, but the information that basically we have. And I think it's the responsibility of the authorities to inform the people, to basically as to why we should go to the ICJ, yes or no. Secondly, I would say that if we look at some of the arguments that you were presenting there, and I will try to play the devil's advocate here. I was looking at the concept of a nation. What is it that defines a nation? And in very simple terms, we can say that there are two things. It's a group of people organized under one government, and most important of all, a defined territory. All right? So basically, when Belize got its independence in 1981, basically those two concepts or conditions were met. Yes or no? And if we look at, and using again some of the things that you were saying, and the argument about Guatemala not recognizing our boundary, we are witness every day that whenever Guatemalans come to our side of the country, they stamp their passports because they recognize that they are stepping into another country. We do likewise when we go to Guatemala. All right? Now, Guatemala might jump and say that they do not recognize that, but in principle, and in fact, we are seeing that that is not true because they do recognize it, and the fact is that they have to stamp their passports, and when they come here, they know that they are in Belizean territory. If we go by inheritance, as a matter of fact, this foolishness about claiming Belize by inheritance, I would say that the people that can have that claim are the indigenous people, the Mayans that were already here when the Spaniards came. Okay? So, if we are saying that we need to go to court to settle this, and let me say that Guatemala would not go to the ICJ if they didn't believe that they also have a strong case. Just as how we are saying that we have a strong case. Okay? I certainly would not go to a judgment if I didn't believe that I had a case to present. So just as how we feel strongly about our case, Guatemala also feels strongly about theirs. And this has to do a lot because this thing about going to the ICJ is nothing new, as you all mentioned. All right? Going to the ICJ was brought from a long time, and all of a sudden now, when we signed the compromise or the special agreements that we are talking, it's basically that changed the whole attitude of Guatemala, and they decided to go to the ICJ. A question that I would want to ask, because I am not fully informed about the conditions or what were the main factors of that compromise. As how I understand it, this had to be a bipartisan issue, right? Did the PUP participate in that last compromise that we signed in Guatemala? We were part of that. Because we need to have more information as to what happened and what were the agreements of that special compromise that we signed in Guatemala that changed our mind in terms of going to the ICJ. Okay? Another point, because I want to give other speakers the chance to talk, is my main concern is basically maybe if you can put the question that we are taking to the ICJ very complicated and very long, and it's very difficult for the common man to understand. All right? This is not an issue of defining borders, because basically this is an issue of land claim, maritime claim. All right? I wouldn't have a problem if you would tell me right now, I wouldn't have a problem in going to the ICJ if Guatemala had an issue with our line, with our borders, you know, because that happens. You know, I would feel comfortable in terms of the ICJ saying, well, you know what, maybe Guatemala made a mistake, or maybe we made a mistake in terms of drawing that line. But Guatemala's position has been changing from ever since. All right? First, they had a problem with the borders. Now, from ever since, they were claiming the whole south, then part of the country, then half of the country, you know, and it has been changing. All right? So why are we agreed in terms of putting that specific question in going to the ICJ? And even, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe this is something that you need to clarify, we are dealing with three issues there. We are dealing with land issues, territories. We are dealing with maritime issues, which is basically the sea boundaries. And if we look at international law, you know, and that 200 miles claim that international law allows, that is not possible in our region because of the Guatemalan issue, the Honduran issue, and the Mexican issue. So for us to define that aspect of the sea boundaries, have to have into consideration the three countries, right? So this is not an issue that Guatemala alone can decide, right? So maybe if you can put a little bit more clarification in terms of why are we doing this, and it's not basically just an issue of a defined border. Right? It's an issue of territory which they are claiming, and that is where my problem lies. Okay?
Wow, Allah. All right. Can you